Hey everyone, and welcome to Signals on the Frontline, your every Wednesday live broadcast brought to you by Frontline Gaming. We are your hosts, Kicker, the Chief of Serial, and Sigilite of the FLG. And I'm Seth the Mad Dog, your competitive correspondent. How have you been doing, buddy?
Dude, I have been doing great. We have a full show for you guys, a lot of information. We possibly might say things that might make us lose our NDA, but let's first talk about hobby progress. Seth, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been working on some orcs. I
Yeah,
have an
yeah.
event coming up this weekend. I'm not SoCal. I'm not going to SoCal. I couldn't make it
No,
out
wah,
there,
wah,
but
wah.
I had to finish. I decided I have a bunch of trucks, but I got the Forge World kits, and so I did like the truck with tracks that's hopefully
Yeah, of
popping up
course.
here, and a couple
Here we
more
go.
Mega Knobs for my list, maybe magically with powers.
Oh, hey Seth, we should probably do the thing where we say the thing. Guys, if you're
What thing?
listening to our podcast, you should be
There it is.
watching our podcast live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you get these cool visual elements, you get to hop into the chat. The chat is more important than us, really. So yeah, listen to us is fine, but watch us live, way more
Yep.
fun. And Seth, there we
Now,
go. There's the photos
there
of
we
your
go.
beautiful
So there's
truck.
the truck and
Yep.
the well, that's back towards me. The truck and the Mega Knobs, but on the other side of the screen is my first test job for the Pioneers.
Nice.
I really
Nice.
wanted I wasn't quite sure how to do the colors with them, like then keep them with the same color theme as my foot guys. So I messed around with it. I actually repainted that guy like 2 or 3 times till I kind of got the colors situated where I wanted them. So I'm happy with him. That's my first Pioneer. I'm sure Kicker has more Pioneers done than I have at this point,
Yeah,
but
Seth.
I
So
just
as you
really
know, we have
wanted
a
to
little
hone in on my scheme.
we have a little painting competition going on here, folks. We're trying to see who can get to 2,000 points first between Seth and I and our brand new Votan army because we are OG Votan players. And
Mm-hmm.
Seth, yes, I have been busy this past week. I have to show off. Yeah, there's the family photo. There's the completed box, ready to rock. I got to show the HQ. Let's go to the next photo. There's my my HQ right there. I love how easy it is to paint faces with these models. It's just they're so defined. It makes the contrast paint kind of just do everything. You don't have to even think about it. And Seth, I'm bringing up the big guns here because I know that you're probably going to beat me if it was just purely painting skill, but I'm going to use painting hacks or hobby hacks, if you will.
All right.
Let's show the next photo there, right? Let's yes, right there. Do you see that on the shoulder? That's a custom decal. Yeah, I've been waiting a month, almost a full month of for these decals to come in. But these are my custom themed Votan based off of a kind of a cyber buffalo logo because I'm really big into like bison buffalo. So every single one of my miniatures will have this nice little insignia on their shoulder parts.
I'm really, really, really just crossing my fingers for my grand scheme, which I will unveil for everyone this evening, which is guards coming out, and hopefully it distracts Kicker.
I mean, we do know I'm easily distracted, so the guard
That's
definitely
my hope.
got me excited.
Otherwise, I don't know if I'm because you're always staying just a few models ahead of me.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Well, guys, we have a full episode, so let's bring on in our guest right now. Seth, do you want to introduce our guest?
It's a Danny.
It's a Danny.
So this is Danny from one of the FLG staff judges, one of the head judges at the LVO from TFG Radio and Pod Save the Imperium. I almost said God Save the Imperium. That didn't work.
You can say it.
Danny, welcome to the show.
Danny's going to be on all show long, jumping in later on when we go really in depth about the SoCal Open because he is the head judge there. But Danny, before we get into the rest of the episode, we have to ask you a very critical question. What is your single favorite sugary breakfast cereal?
I'm going to go with Oops All Crunch Berries, Captain Crunch.
Good choice. All right,
nice. You like ooping in tie-dye?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's fun. It changes things up from just a little bit of difference in the day. I think can really
variety,
spice up life. And I have fond memories of that shit coming out. I think I was yeah, exactly. I was like 14 or 15 when it came out, and I just remember thinking like, man, they actually listened to us. They listened to the youth of like, I don't want these little yellow squares. I just want the crunch berries.
And the squares cut your roof of your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird because like the offshoot cereal is better than the original Captain Crunch. 100%. 100% better.
All right, but very real peanut butter Captain Crunch.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's legit, man. That peanut butter Captain Crunch is the best peanut butter cereal, hands down. You can't compete with that. Cool.
right.
Well, let's jump in. Danny's going to stick around. Danny, feel free to chime in whenever you want. But we got to talk about some new products. And our wonderful friends at GW sent us a pile of the new Citadel tools, and they are shiny and fancy. And let's just be honest, a little pricey. So I've had about 2 weeks now to play around with them, and I actually built all those Votan with them. And I really, like I am kind of I'm pretty finicky. I want really, really good tools. And, I do have a lot of the old Citadel tools. So let's show the next photo if that's cool. This is the original Citadel Clipper. So this is the old Citadel Clippers. And then if you see the next photo is the brand new Citadel Clippers. So they look almost the exact same, and they are. The metal components of the Clippers are almost identical. It's the, I guess, the housing, which has
Rubberized
really
grip.
changed. So now with all that said, the housing definitely could use a new improvement. I mean, they're far more ergonomic now. They're way more comfortable to use. The Clippers themselves is they are the sharpest, the finest ones I've personally used. I've used a lot of the other brands out there. I really do I swear by these. The only thing I'm going to ding it for is that these Clippers are they're super sharp. They're super easy to get into the little cracks of a sprue. But the problem is that the spring mechanism on the Citadel Clippers is not as snappy as say the Army painters. So if you're trying to cut out a bunch of into the dark terrain like I just was doing last week, these are probably not the tool because they don't snap back as fast. Seth, have you ever had that problem with Clippers? You just want this?
Yeah, I have I think it's 6th edition GW set of Clippers, and the spring is busted on them, and it is annoying.
It's
just frustrating because you get going in a groove and they're like, nope, stop, open, reopen. So it just kind of throws you off the groove.
So it is a little frustrating, but the Clippers themselves, it's not like it's necessarily a defect. It's just that's just the way they're built. The quality is amazing. There's no doubt about it. They do have a hefty price tag. We're talking $50 for a set of Clippers, which is it's a lot. $50 for these Clippers.
That's a good chunk of money.
Yeah, but like I said, the quality as soon as you open them out of the box, they sit, they're a nice product. There's no doubt about it. This is a quality device. The mold line remover. I mean, I use a mold line remover all the time. You can see the old one next to the new one. So the old one was all metal. The new one is metal on the inside, but it has the nice ergonomic housing around it. And the next photo has the cool new feature of it. Yeah. Do you see what it's doing right there?
Oh, yeah.
The new
kind of off the edge of the base.
Yeah, the new mold line remover has this notch in it that allows you to quickly snap off those little nubs, I guess, around the bevel of a base. It's a pretty cool little idea. It's not something I ever really thought that was needed, but now that I've had it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is really cool to quickly polish off those bases. The next one was the drill. The drill is it's a drill, nothing too special. But I will tell you that it's wider where you turn the drill, I guess, so it makes it a little bit easier to leverage, I guess, the spin feature. It's a drill, right? If you have an Army Painter one or if you have a cheap one from the hardware store, you don't necessarily need to go out and buy this one. The knife, though, is weird because everyone has an X-Acto knife, right? You can get an X-Acto knife basically everywhere. This one is different. For some reason, it's I've never seen anyone do this where you can control the tightening element away from where the blade is. So you're not actually going to loosen it like I would do with my old X-Acto knives. It's also a little more small, I guess. I don't know. I like my hands are massive, by the way. If you're looking at this photo, yes, I'm basically an orangutan. I've got no legs, extremely long arms. I'm very short. I'm all torso, and my hands are massive. So yes, that is my monkey hand.
You should be a rock climber.
Should be a rock climber. All right, I do climb occasionally. But the knife is good. It's nothing crazy, but I do like the way I guess I hold it in my hand. It feels a little easier to rotate in different ways. So I'm a fan of them. Is this something you have to get? No, but you know what this is? This is for what you get you get your significant other, or you ask from your significant other. This is a great Christmas gift. Because you don't want models for Christmas. You Seth, you go out and buy your own models. Dan, you go out and get your own models. But this is something you ask for.
It's a good stocking stuffer, right? Just an easy little small thing that, you put in, and it's whether you can go and maybe find a different product or from, a more professional line, as in a tool maker as opposed to a model maker kind of company thing. The reality is this is easy for people to find. They can go into a game store where they know you go to, they see it, they can get it. It's going to work, right? And that's the thing. It's going to work and work well. So it definitely, I think, makes great little small gifts for the hobbyist in your life. right? When, or even as prize support in tournaments, right? Like if you're doing a smaller event.
Great point. Prize support, like this is a perfect little item because we will all appreciate a quality pair of pliers or clippers. Are we necessarily going to want to buy them ourselves? No, but I know that both of you guys will really enjoy having one of these in your hobby box.
Absolutely. I would never be upset, even if I'm like, well, maybe my other pair I like better. Maybe it's a little, for me, I like one that has that I have to work at it to get it going. So I like controlling the pressure. But it still wouldn't matter. Be like, oh shit, ooh, nice, new one, great. I need this.
Seth, is the chat
supporting? The tools are universal. Armies are very hot hit or miss with gamers.
Yeah,
so
good point.
You might buy the wrong model, wrong army. You send your spouse in there for Blood Angels, and you come back with Dark Angels, kind of thing. Easy mistakes. And chat is asking some good questions that aren't necessarily on topic. Don't worry, chat. I am taking notes down as we go, and we will circle back to those later.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you. Yeah. So the tools are always in fashion, always a good gift item. Let's talk about the really big release that was announced, or I guess the big preview that was shown off was the Rough Riders, the Astra militarum Rough Riders. Highly polarizing. You either love them or hate them. Seth, go. Hot take. Do you like the way they look?
I like them. I mean, the current Rough Rider models, the ones that are about to be replaced, are quite old. Oh, we have a tech priest.
We got a tech priest in the house. All right. What's up, tech priest?
They're terrible. They're the worst.
They're bad. Well, get out of here. Go.
Of course, the tech priest would say that.
Yeah.
It's a dude on a horse with a lance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they look like action figures with their big chunky hands. All right, I'm out of here before I get killed.
Get back behind the screen. Back, I say.
Danny, what is your hot take? Do you like the miniatures? Are they doing the previous ones justice?
I mean, I think they're actually falling into the current GW trap sometimes of let's just redo our models with the technology we have today rather than let's pay homage, but actually update them to make them distinct and new. And I think that's maybe a little bit of the issue because I think there's a lot of room to make them look really stunning and just be something really unique in 40K, but it really just looks kind of like the old models, but better poses, bigger, a little crisper details on some parts, but
And Danny, you've been in this hobby probably longer than me, and I know Seth, you've been in this forever. We all know that a lot of times models look way better in person than the photos, right? So I'm hoping that they look even better in person. I personally am really hoping for a head swap. I know this is the traditional head of the Rough Riders. I just would like a more generic head so it would fit in with the rest of my Acadians if I wanted to run Acadians or Death Corps even, So that's my personal thing. But I actually kind of like them. I mean, I like them. I'm not so sure about the cloth on the horse, but I feel like they're a pretty cool, aggressive looking miniature. So we'll see. And all the gear, all the saddlebags, that makes me excited. So
I think they will make excellent conversion bait. I'm excited to see what some of our top hobbyists can do playing with that model.
100%. 100%. Well, the other big thing that's coming up for pre-order this weekend is the brand new the new Kill Team box, which is Into the Vaults, Shadow Vaults. It's got the car skin and the Necrons, and it is an awesome box. So yeah. If you're going to be playing Guard in the future, you're going to probably want this box because they usually delay the release of these models for a little bit longer, and everyone's going to want these stormtroopers. I guess we should talk about some of the rules leaks we've had about Guard because they've been all over the place. I can say these are leaks that are on the internet. These are not ones that Frontline Gaming or Danny or Seth are providing. These are ones that are already out there. Some of the ones have been about the infantry squads getting different bonuses based off of the regiment. So like Death Corps Krieg are most likely to have like mini transhuman. Cadians are going to get exploding sixes on the shooting, while Kaddish are going to get exploding sixes on melee. Tank guns look a little bit more solid with battle cannons going up to a flat 3 damage. Turrets are going to get a +1 to hit. T8 and 2 up on the tanks. Guard are looking pretty solid. But Seth, have you heard of any crazy thing that might make it to the Jank of the Week for this week?
I have.
I've
seen some leaks, some rumors as to what the Death Strike missile carriage will be,
and no one used that in previous editions. I mean, not competitively.
No.
At least
It's the alternative build for the Mana Corps with a giant nuclear missile strapped on the top of it. So the rumors are it's a 150 point chassis. But it basically does like a special action to align the target. So you do an action in your command phase, and you basically put a marker on the table. And that marker is where your missile hits next turn.
Okay.
So, people have time to run away from it. Now, the next turn, you can do the action to fire the missile off the spot. If you move the marker and so you can't move and try to walk that token to wherever your opponent ran away from you. So if you move, you're basically resetting the token. So there's basically 3 different missiles. We'll start off with the Vortex Warhead. It's you roll for every unit within D3 plus 3 inches. On a 1, that unit takes nothing. On a 2 through 3, they take D3 mortal wounds. On a 4 through 5, D3 plus 1. And on a 6, it's 2D3. But at the end, you roll, and on a 4+, that token stays there, and you just keep shooting missiles at that spot every turn.
All right, nice.
Then there's the Plasma Barrage Warhead. Again, you're going to roll for each unit that's within the range. This one is 6 plus D3 inches, so it's a really big range. On a 1, nothing happens. On a 2 through 3, D3 plus 1 mortal wounds. On a 4 through 5, 2D3 mortal wounds. And on a 6, D3 plus 3 mortal wounds. And if you are hitting an infantry character, it's -1 on that roll. Now, here's the big one. You ready, Kicker?
Right. I'm ready.
It's called
I'm ready.
the God Spear Warhead.
Sounds dangerous.
Everything within 3 inches. On a 1, nothing happens. On a 2 through 3, 8 mortal wounds. On a 4 through 5, 12 mortal wounds. And on a 6, 16 mortal wounds.
Just take the whole model right off the bit.
Remember, you're putting a token down, and I got a turn to move away from it. That token can't move.
Okay, do you need line of sight? Do you need line of sight to put that token down, Seth? Do we know if you need line of sight?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
But so if you really just are like, you know what, buddy, I do not want you holding this objective, you can just be like, here's this token on that objective. If you wish to stay on this objective, you are taking mortal wounds. Got it?
I like it. Danny, what do you think? Is it too much?
It's 16 mortal wounds.
I mean, the 16 mortal wounds is silly, although it's got a pretty small range. But so you can, even with 3 inches, you can, I mean, I guess if you put it in there's no way to you can't claim an objective that way with it because the radius to control is larger.
Yeah.
So
because it's a single point, that token, unless it comes with the kit or something.
Unless it has something about how a base size to it or whatever. But I think it's really awesome to be able to dictate your opponent's movement. So I could see, especially really high level players, abusing the hell out of that.
You could have movement blocks. If there's an alley against a knight army, and you could be like, if you walk in this alley, you are taking mortal wounds.
Yeah, no, good point. Yeah, it's good control the opponent's movement. Yeah, you could have a lot of fun with that. And I mean, imagine if you had 2 of these. Suddenly now you can completely,
or
change
3.
the whole way your opponent plays. Or 3 of them. You can just go with 3 of them. Why don't we?
I mean, you can. Especially if you go first, you can basically create an artillery barrage shield around your forces. So it's like, okay, you've got to come at me. Oh, you're a melee army. You're charging me. You have to move forward. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
You just, because there's not much in the game that really wants to take between 8 and 16 mortal wounds.
Yeah, not really.
Well, okay, guys, I want to talk about one other big thing this is a Frontline gaming thing that we're really stoked about. This is the 2022 hobby box. This is kind of like that high roller box that sells at every LVO, except even better because we mail it to you. We just now announced it. And you're actually gonna have the opportunity to win one. The more entries you put in, the more chances you're gonna win. You basically go like Facebook pages and et cetera, et cetera. More details on the website, but you can win one of these hobby boxes. These things are gonna have a retail price of about $190. They're gonna have a ton more value than that. Basically, it's all the goodness you could possibly imagine in the high rollers package, but being mailed to you. They do sell out like the high roller packages. So if you're interested, make sure you jump on next week and get it immediately. They'll be from the sites. Like I said, they're highly, highly limited. Seth, I know you're a big high roller, fan. This is the high roller thing, basically.
Oh yeah, basically. Yeah, it's high roller at home.
It's a high roller at home. Exactly. It's we call it it's the high roller bag, but in a box. That's basically what it is.
Hey, I want to hop in real quick and ask Danny something. Just because we're getting a lot of questions in chat that are very granular rules things. Danny, I can throw those at you live, but if folks wanted a more defined means of submitting them, where would they go?
So in the player packet, there is a link to a Google document that is the SoCal event page, essentially. Not really FAQ, but just, a place to ask questions and I can respond.
Clarifications.
Yes, exactly. I would recommend that you go there, fill it out. I will, get back to you as soon as I can. If it's something that I can't immediately answer, I put a note in there for you to know, like, hey, I'm working with the other ITC judges to come to an understanding on this if it's something we've never really run into before. But yeah, in general, if you're going to ask me a bunch of, super granular questions, I will default to what I do at LVO, which is, okay, show me your codex. Right. Yeah. Take out your codex, take out your rules, right? Like,
So I saw like 2 or 3 folks post up questions and looked at them real quick and went, oh, these are very technical. And I didn't want to put you on the spot. That'll just, you go to that link. That's the official way. It also is important because then you get your answer in writing. So in the event, if your opponent's like, hey, how does this rule work? You're like, hey, man, here it is in writing. This is what the judge staff said. This is how we're going to play it. And everyone's on the same page.
And we'll be doing the same thing for LVO as soon as SoCal's done. So, guys, if you're going to LVO, you can submit your questions that way.
So if you have any questions specific to the FLG events and how things are going to be handled, that's the source to do it. Not that I don't want to answer you guys in chat. I just don't want to, put Danny here on the spot and then he gives a snap answer that might not be as well researched, and you don't get the answer you want. You want Danny to have as much time to drink some tea and relax and maybe get his feet in a little bubble bath, just to be in a really good place when it comes time to answer your questions.
Nice bath bomb. I mean, part of it too is I don't think it makes for good TV or radio if you see what it looks like to answer some of these questions, which is me on my phone and my laptop looking at 4 different sources of rules and sitting there trying to figure out what the answer is, and sometimes diagramming sentences to make it I understand exactly what Raw is saying as opposed to intent. So,
you said diagramming sentences and I was out. I was out, bud.
All right. Hey, guys, so we have to announce something. Can we bring up the next photo? Because this is really important, guys. We're announcing the 2023 season of events for next week, right there. We can't actually tell you the events yet. If you look at that photo closely, you can see there's a few new things on there.
There's 2 boxes that say new.
Yeah,
one in March and one in September.
Yes. Okay. Wait till SoCal. We're going to release all the information about what events Frontline Gaming is running in 2023. There is going to be one brand new event and then one that's kind of changing. And then we're actually partnering with quite a few people across the world. Yes, across the world for 2023. More information will be announced at SoCal. And then the following week, Seth, you and I are going to sit down and share all this cool information with everyone.
All right. I think it's important whenever we release this that instead of the dates and the events being, colored circles on a timeline, that they are gems in a 9 gemmed infinity gauntlet the kicker's wearing.
Fine. I'm good with it, right? I'm good with it. Boom. Infinity gauntlet all the way, buddy. Hey, we ran that poll. I don't know if Danny, if you saw it, Seth. I think you saw the poll that we ran today.
I'm trying to compose myself. Okay.
Yeah, you got a little opinionative right there. So, guys, on the Frontline Gaming Community Facebook group, this is a really important group. If you're, in chat right now, if you're listening to us, on your drive home, consider joining that group because that's where you get to be involved with the community and contribute importantly, like right now, what kind of food, do you like to have for dinner? I'm not giving you any reason why. I just need to know because it's really important for next year. So, guys, we threw a poll up there. 5 options: pizza, tacos, pasta, barbecue / Southern home cooking food, and the most important one, of course, Brenner. That includes sugary breakfast cereal. I don't know why that one made it the poll. I have no idea, other than personally because I made the damn poll and I'm biased and I really. Like
I'll put sugary breakfast cereal on a damn pizza for you.
So Seth, you obviously really wanted pizza because
I do. Pizza is my if you're on a desert island and you can eat one thing the rest of your life, it's pizza.
It's pizza. Danny, where do you stand on this? What is your dinner of choice?
I was on tacos.
Tacos, yeah. I mean, tacos. I thought tacos were going to be winning, but as of this afternoon, it looks like barbecue is in the lead. Barbecue with all the side.
I think. Hold on. I think it's really important to clarify, depending on which region in the U.S. you are.
And that's really for both of those. Like, I don't want. So I'm from. I live here in SoCal. I don't necessarily want barbecue from here. Right.
Yeah,
the same way I don't really necessarily want tacos from Connecticut. Right.
Exactly.
Fair.
I totally voted for barbecue.
You voted for barbecue?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Get out of here, tech priest.
Get out of here. I mean, listen, honestly, if I wasn't if it wasn't like the cereal wasn't
not in the game.
if cereal wasn't a factor in this decision, I would have chosen barbecue because I really like barbecue.
I mean, I am a fan of Brenner.
Yeah.
But at the end of a long day, Like burner isn't necessarily a thing they're going to fill me up and comfort
No,
me.
no, no. But seriously, after the end of a long day playing 40K, you're tired. You just want to sit down to some French toast and some bacon and possibly some cereal. And I just think that is the right option. But
you're almost swaying. You're almost swaying me. If it could be a breakfast pizza.
You do breakfast pizza.
And we could have breakfast tacos.
Yeah.
Oh, we're on to something here. All right.
See, look at that.
Breakfast covers everything, guys. It can cover
We found
everything.
a solution to peace. Look at that. We found a path.
Found a solution.
All right. Let's keep going, Kicker.
Keep going,
I know Danny's on a clock tonight.
We have SoCal coming up this weekend, guys. You should be there. It's going to be streamed on the FLGN. We're going to have all the cool kids streaming, hosting the show.
You might even get some commentary from a tech priest.
Hell yeah. Yes. I think our tech priest will be involved. Awesome. Seth, you know what I need to tell everyone to do. Bring your challenge coins. Duncan Rhodes Paint will be there for the first 100 people presenting their challenge coins. So you got to show off your challenge coins after round 1 begins. That'll be our challenge coin perk. Let's also talk about the LVO. LVO, of course, is happening in January. A lot of things are sold out. Most of the events, 40K Champs, it's totally sold out. We can't release tickets unless people sort of, decide to get refunds or something like that or drop. But it's a lot of events are sold out. But, there's one way you can get tickets to the 40K Champs if you really want to go, or the Age of Sigmar Champs. It's in that raffle we're doing next week that's involving the hobby box. Yeah. Cool. That's one of the few ways. Yeah. So if you don't, we have like 30 different prizes that we're raffling away. One of the best ones is the hobby box, but some of the other ones are tickets to events. So anyway, that's what's going on in the Frontline Gaming world. Seth, what's happening on the Frontline Gaming network though?
Well, this week on Grim After Dark, they brought on Mikey from Hellstorm Wargaming. They kept him up to some obscene hours in the morning. It was like 3 a.m. his time when they were streaming, and they just had a good old time. Mikey, I think the best way to describe Mikey is he is a classy British version of Grim After Dark. So it was really great to have him on there and kind of show those boys what to strive for. So I was looking forward to that. The Thursday show should be covering SoCal, and chat is clamoring for it. Danny, when are lists going to be unlocked?
I was actually literally going to do that right now since we were people. I figured people would ask. So
Can we do it live on the air? Can we do this?
Do it literally right now.
Okay, so let's go into
chat. You got to bribe them somehow, chat. Bubble bath.
Okay, my PayPal is
What? So you said your favorite sugar breakfast cereal was Oops all
how many boxes of that?
Yeah. How many boxes can we get to SoCal for them?
So guys, we have the next 10 minutes to ask Danny basically anything and everything. I do want to just start us off with Danny, while you're unlocking the list here for SoCal this weekend, what is like the meta in SoCal? I mean, you're going into SoCal, people are flying in from around the country. Oh, and, what are they supposed to expect? What armies are more likely to be seen?
We are a chaos heavy society here. We have a lot of really dedicated chaos players, myself included. So that you're going to see a lot of chaos. So looking at the list, if you take chaos as a whole, there's between chaos and chaos, space marines, knights, and demons. They make up a good chunk of the field. Tyranids also very popular. Also, again, I'm a product of my environment. I love Tyranids, and they're my main army.
Chaos and Nids, all right.
Yep. So it's going to be a lot of that. You're going to see that for sure. In any tournament, you're going to see Imperium lists. Space Marines, people who maybe aren't super hard edge competitive, but do play and love. So we definitely have people who will raise the banner for Blood Angels or even generic vanilla Marines and all that. But I think you should definitely prep to play Tyranids, prep to play against all the flavors of chaos. And for a lot of the more competitive players are actually coming in with Goth Orcs. So that's something to look at. Yeah.
So if you go over to the Frontline Gaming website on our blog, there's actually a meta breakdown for the SoCal Open. I won't steal too much thunder from the Thursday guys, but the top 5 are Tyranids, Demons, Chaos Space Marine, Orcs, and Sisters of Battle.
Nice.
Yep. And there is an illustrious gentleman taking Orcs to this event that would surprise many folks.
Seth, drop this bomb on people.
Sean Naden. Yep. Sean Naden has been hobbying up his Orcs. He's been playing them this year. He's been going on about how Orcs have pointy ears as well. So, he hasn't left the pointy ears. And if you remember last year, Danny, do you remember what happened last year to one Sean Naden at SoCal?
I certainly did. He was defeated by the champion and who is going to be playing this year, of course, Logan Heath with Orcs. He got kind of
Logan's
blitzed by the
chat. Yeah, and he says
he got blitzed.
This year.
Yeah.
So does that mean Sean's given up on competitive 40K or?
No, that's definitely not a friendly list.
Get out of here!
Oh, sorry.
Where's the disconnect button? I'm gonna turn the power off on that guy.
Releasing the list tonight, so everyone can go see.
They're
what
already
Sean's
live,
thinking, but we do know it's an orc list.
Yeah, it's a Goth orc list.
It has Ghazi. I've seen his Ghazi. It's beautiful.
It's I think it's it goes into the meta pretty well. It has has a lot of great matchups against a lot of common builds you're going to see, has plenty of trickiness and razzle dazzle. And the thing about Sean Naden is that he's he is probably one of the best on the feet players. Like, he is amazing at coming up with strategies and reacting to the game state in ways that you can't predict. So you think you're winning, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, how did I just lose?
He always can find a path.
Yep.
Yeah. Sean reached out to me earlier this week, like, you know what? I think I'm going to go to this event, like, kind of just on the fly, I'm like, dude, like, you got to get your ticket, got to get your list in PCP and everything. It's like, no, I really want to do it. Let's make it happen. So, he's coming, he's excited. He told me he hasn't played, really much competitive 40K, definitely not a big giant tournament, really, I think since LVO almost. So he's coming back.
Yeah, he hasn't done a lot of events. He's been, he was the past captain now for the American WTC team. He has handed the reins off on that, but he's been, he's got another kid now. He is a very dedicated father, so he's been spending a lot of time there. So he definitely hasn't been as active in the scene as he has in past years, but I don't think that makes him any less dangerous.
No. Seth, Danny, this segues really nicely into something that I know people have been asking me to ask you, Danny. Like, what are the teams or maybe the specific players that are like kind of the known forces of power, like the powerhouses in town that people should, look for,
Oh, I think, I think an important team to go through is, and one of the top player who's coming that I know of is Junior Flahy and Team Zero Comp, which, really had a big renaissance in San Diego, so they're kind of a homegrown team, although they started up north. And so those are, players that are all good. You have to kind of beat them to be able to get on the team. So, but Junior is, plays as Blood Angels, and he's an exceptionally high level player.
You mean like beat them in 40K or like in a physical fight?
I mean, I don't know. I think that's up to the individuals. I think you get to choose your challenge. So, but they get to choose their defenders. So, you got to keep that in mind.
Good point. All right.
We have Logan Heath, who won last year. He's part of Xenos Petting Zoo, which is probably the largest competitive team we have in SoCal. If you go to an event in SoCal, you're going to run into XBZ guys, and they are really trying to be as competitive as they can on the kind of team, the kind of team circuit and things like that. So definitely people to watch out for. My team, #wrecked. We have a few people going, probably, unfortunately, our kind of highest level competitive players like Brandon Grant, Jeff Poole, Carlos Kaiser have families, so they're not going to SoCal this year. But even then, we have Steven Masuda, who's a long-time fantasy and 40K player, and he is very, very good.
And I hear that one of your teammates will be making a rare tournament appearance.
Yes,
the lovely Adam Solis.
Yep. Latin Gandalf himself, Old Man Solis, is
coming out to play. Folks.
Latin Gandalf.
Yes. He's coming out. He's bringing his chaos list, and he can surprise people with it. I mean, he's been playing chaos so long that he knows that list really well. He's been getting a lot of reps in from our Los Angeles league, which is a pretty big league. We, I think, have close to 200 players in it, and he's always stays up, and he's always in pod 1, which is funny. He's in the most competitive pod and always manages to stay there. So he's actually someone to not sleep on, even though he's going to constantly tell you, like, hey man, just read my dice to me, because he's half blind.
And guys, you see Adam, in case you don't know his name, Adam is one of our head judges at most of our Frontline gaming events. You see him literally from the East Coast to West Coast. He's all over the place. Yeah. So if he ruled against you one time, you want a little revenge. Hopefully, I think there's some sort of rule that Frontline gaming staff judges are not allowed to drink while judging, but while
never heard that rule in my life.
I know for a fact that rule doesn't exist, but
yes.
I was trying to get to a segue of this would be a great chance to maybe get Adam a few drinks and get on his good side.
And hear the stories. That's the thing.
Yeah,
if you want to play Adam, because that man has stories for days, stories he will never say when you can record him. Right?
He has seen it all.
Yeah. Logan popped back in the chat to say that XPZ is bringing a couple dozen players this year.
Wow.
Yeah,
they are rolling deep.
Yeah, they're local to San Diego. They're a huge team. And I think, they're kind of unlike, I think for a while, my team was like the biggest total members, but really most of us didn't play competitively. It was kind of more of like, we would always say we're more of a social club than a team, but XBC is a huge club. Team that comes to play. So I think it's always, good to keep that in mind. But
they travel sportsmen too, man. They do travel. I played against some XPC guys down in New Orleans last year.
Yeah, they're good sportsmen, good ambassadors of the hobby. I mean, it's cool to see that team grow and flourish. I guess we should ask. I mean, Seth, do we have anything in the chat that we need to discuss or address real fast? Anything popping up?
Well, there seems to be some sort of, I don't know, conspiracy. I think it's a bot because it keeps. Multiple people have said it that Danny has been very helpful, and they're looking forward to SoCal. And I can't imagine multiple people have thought this and said this.
Hey, Look, how I spend my money on what Russian services is none of your concern. All right.
Fair enough. All right. Kelsey does say in chat, and I know you've been posting about it, Kicker, coming early and setting up. Where do people contact you?
Yes.
How's that going?
So tomorrow at 5:00 my time, I am flying over to San Diego, and we will be setting up at 1 p.m. at the exhibit hall in the fairgrounds. Mike, my buddy Mike, is driving the truck tomorrow early in the morning from Vegas. I'm flying in 1 p.m. We unload that truck, and we can use all the help that's possible since we will be drained. And it's a lot of stuff.
We mentioned it last week, but is there a special perk for perhaps helping out with the unload?
There is a special perk for helping out, but you have to help out. We can't tell. I mean, we can't tell all the time.
Right. Well, it's always good to give back, guys.
Yes.
We all love these events, but these events are a lot of labor to put on. So if you got the chance to give back, always give back.
Yes. So that will be 1 p.m. Thursday that we will be setting up. And then, of course, striking everything after the award ceremony on Sunday. The event is going to have the full Frontline Gaming store as well as all the secondhand shop stuff you know and love. So we are bringing a very packed up truck, Hey, Danny, I got to ask, man, what are your thoughts? Because you're not just the SoCal judge. You're one of the Frontline Gaming staff judges. You're involved with a lot going on in the competitive world. What do you think? I mean, SoCal's this weekend. How do you think the competitive, world looks? Is it balanced? Are we happy? Are you concerned? Where do you think? What are you thinking, man?
I mean, I think it's funny as much as some of my cohorts would gnash their teeth at Nephilim, and I will agree, Nephilim isn't always the most joy to play. Made some decisions I wasn't necessarily big on, but if you look at the numbers and you look at the game state and you just look at tournaments, that different lists are winning, different players are winning, different list archetypes are winning. I think the meta is in a pretty good place where there are a lot of different big fish, and that creates a richer ecosystem. And so I think it's, especially looking at the list at SoCal, and I think there's definitely heat. There's definitely really strong lists that if it's a bad matchup for you, there's gonna be a lot of feels bad in that game. But those lists also have other counters. And when that happens, then it comes down to player skill. And that's what the game should be about, right? Like, it's, again, an ideal game, player skill should be the most important factor. And I think we're at that point right now where that's a lot more true than it has been in the past in this edition.
I think balance-wise, we are in a very good spot. Sorry, Dickie.
I was going to say I got a good question. I got one that Seth's not going to yell at me about.
I'm going to yell at you whatever I want.
Yeah. So if we get a balanced data slate tomorrow, how will that affect SoCal?
It won't. Just because it's just the reality. That's why we set it only a week in advance for like list deadline and rules deadline. Because I want that chance to happen. But at this point, people have submitted lists, they've game planned, they've gotten their reps, and you can't take that away from them. Like that's just that. And again, from a TO/judge perspective, all that does is create moments of conflict with my players, and that's what I don't want, right? I want people to come and roll dice and have a good time. So doing that would, implementing a new data slate right now would just mess with that, and so I don't see the point of doing it.
Dickie, I feel it's really important. I've taken a lot of sensitivity training over the years.
Court mandated.
Employer mandated. And I really wanted to acknowledge that question that you asked, and that was a good question, Dickie. So thanks for bringing that
I
up.
felt like people would want to know.
Yeah,
that was a good question.
That was great. I wasn't going to think of that. So great job, Tech Priest Dickie.
Thank you.
You went away before I could pat you on the head.
Seth, what are you thinking though, man? So as a player, are you feeling what Danny's saying from your perspective? Things are looking pretty good.
Yeah, right now things are. Now we all have heard that Votan's going to be really strong. The full range isn't out, and a lot of events, I think SoCal included, are not allowing armies that consist of models that haven't been officially released. Fun factoid for everyone. Last weekend, basically I've been calling it the FOMO box, the fear of missing out box, the army set box. Army went 35% win rate, which equated to 2 people playing it and 1 person getting 3 wins. That 1 person being Danny McDevitt of Grim After Dark. So right now, Votan isn't the terror we all thought it would be. Now, I think it's premature to say that. And it's kind of interesting that we're all really kind of thinking we're getting this data slate here in the next, maybe tomorrow, maybe a week from tomorrow. We don't know, but it's feeling like it's getting close. And so things are pretty balanced. So I'll be interested to see what happens, because if things are pretty balanced and there's some significant changes in those data slates, we could start to see a lot of different armies rise and fall through the rankings.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, most definitely. I think with the Votanks, I've seen them played a decent amount. I've been helping one of my teammates who is playing them at SoCal kind of build his list. And right now with what they have, they're actually much more of a finesse army than they are, than people think. People think like, oh, they're dwarves, they're big, tough, stocky, and they'll just blast whatever. And it's like, they're short ranged and they're slow for the most part. So you really have to know how to piece trade.
Like right now, the army is a bunch of 4-up armor saves and then a few characters with better than that.
Yeah, we'll see once everything's out.
Yeah,
and
once everything's out, I think it'll be a different story, and that'll be a more true representation of the army.
Okay, well, what
now Danny's holding up the faction.
As a longtime Votan player myself, I'm just curious to think what Danny, you think is going to be the unit that's going to maybe really push things in their favor. I mean, obviously we have the vehicles that haven't been released yet, and with the Terminators and but I think the Berserkers. What is the thing that you're most worried about in being too powerful, maybe, or maybe not even worried about, just thinking that they are going to be the ones to make Votan more of a competitive army?
I think it's a combination of their transports, which to give them that speed to get those units where you need to get them in range and actually make use of those grudge tokens. And I think it's actually the Berserkers and the Terminators, because they don't have a good melee element right now.
Without those,
but having those, I think having the Hecaton, the chunky boy with the Magna Cannon, and having 5 Berserkers, 10 Berserkers, or whatever hidden in there, that's a pretty significant threat that can change how they play and can catch people off guard, because you spend all this time killing that thing, and then all of a sudden you got these little angry dwarves run at you coked out of their minds. So
all right, cool. I think we're getting close to the time that Danny turns into a pumpkin.
Yes,
you gotta get hopping off here, Danny.
Yeah, in a couple minutes. I think so far I hear peace downstairs. So,
well, Danny, before you do go, you want to give us maybe help you where they can find you besides SoCal this weekend?
So besides SoCal, I'm on TFG Radio. We're a podcast from, again, all of us are judges on it for the most part, except for that one guy, Tom. So we've been doing this for 7 years.
Is Tom even on the podcast anymore?
He does. He pops in now, more than John lately. Geez. So at TFG Radio and all that associated, you can find me pretty easily. You can probably find me via various SoCal Open or LVO tags, since I've been judging LVO since I think 2015. So pretty easy to find on the interwebs if you bother to look. But yeah, I'd check out. I usually write for FLG. I've had to take a break because of work, because I just literally cannot find an hour to write an article every week like I used to. But I will hopefully be getting back to that when things calm down. And yeah, if you're, please come, when you're at SoCal, say hi. You'll see me. I walk around a lot because I actually enjoy looking at the armies and chatting with people. Just yell judge and I'll come a running. And if not, then I'll hopefully see people at.
And if they yell judge and hold up a nice frosty unopened beverage,
I will never.
or box of oops all berries.
It depends what time of the day, because I don't know if I could eat Oops All Berries at like 8 a.m. I just feel like that's asking my stomach to, go poorly. I think it should be safer with a beer or something.
So the beer's safer at 8 a.m.
I did not know that was going to go. Well, Danny, thank you so much for hopping on, man. Really, really appreciate it. Everyone, we'll see you this weekend. And honestly, man, you've been, I've heard really good feedback. You've been really responsive to asking, people asking questions and updating them and getting tokens issued, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you so much, man. You've done an amazing job. And I'll see you in 2 days.
Yep. And if anything, you have any questions about SoCal, doesn't matter if it's last minute, just email me. My email's in the packet. I'll try and get it fixed as fast as I can, try and get something answered as fast as I can. All right.
Right. Sweet, man. Sweet.
Right. Well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Definitely. Thanks, dude. Seth, you want to take us into the competitive track?
Yeah. Let's get the ITC recap going. So our not a whole lot of movement since last week. Our number one is still Jack Harpster with the Art of War Dominance. I'm beginning to wonder if we're ever going to see a year that isn't Art of War at the top. I feel like, Dice Down with Vic and David, they're getting close. Death or Glory with Thomas Ogden at 4, getting there. But then you got John Lennon hanging out there at 5 again. So,
wow.
We'll be interested to see if a lot of these European teams can kind of get in there and compete, maybe take that top spot. So we'll keep an eye on that. Moving on down to our hobby track. Our number 1 is Matt Aaron. Number 2, Jacob Thayer. Number 3, Aaron Kelman. Number 4, Dean Pritchard. And number 5, Eric Mullins. And then sliding on over to the AOS competitive track, our number 1 again this week is Gavin Greigar. Number 2, Anthony Trentinelli. Number 3, Jeremy Vassir. Number 4, Matt Beasley. And number 5, Rich Hanna. And then rounding it out with the AOS hobby track, our number 1 is Robert Snyder. Our number 2 is Ricky Fisher. Number 3, Anthony Trentinelli. Number 4, Nick Garcia. And number 5, Matt Beasley. So again, Anthony and Matt showing up on both the competitive track and the hobby track. So good work, boys. Good work there. Whew, kicker.
Yes. It's a full show.
It is a full show.
Yeah. We did good. Yeah. I can applaud our own show. Guys, sorry, I'm tired. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I gotta catch a taxi or an Uber at 4:00 in the morning to get to the airport for 4:45.
You don't literally just put your bag on your back and run to the airport?
Just run, right? Just run. I would, but it is 14 miles and
the Louis Armstrong Airport is a bit out there. It's not in the middle of town.
Yeah, not in the middle of town. Which weird though, flying into San Diego, you fly like smack in the middle of downtown, which is great. I love this, kind of like Vegas. You fly right into downtown, which is hey, do we have any questions that people, are really eager to?
I think we've hit most of them. They had a lot of them for Danny. So, they really enjoyed
I see Total War. What's going on with Total War? I see that as one of our notes there.
That's from a guy named Total War.
Oh, okay. A guy.
He was asking if the lists were unlocked.
Okay. Yes, guys. So lists should be unlocked right now. If not, Danny.
Consume to your heart's content. And that way the lists are also unlocked for tomorrow for the Thursday show. Because boy, it would be a hard Thursday show without lists.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Right. All
right. So, well, Kicker, any final thoughts for the night, bud?
No, guys. I'll see a bunch of you at SoCal this weekend, and if not this weekend, I'll see you guys at LVO, which we are gearing up after SoCal. It's straight on to LVO for us. So thank you so much for listening, guys, and I'm glad we had Danny on to share his insight. Seth, you want to take us out?
Sure. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Signals from the Frontline. We really hope you enjoyed it, and have a great week, and we will see you at the SoCal Open.
Good night.